for so late on.
Yep, as we expected it would be. I think it's been absolutely magnificent over the last 24 hours or so. The picture has just kept on changing, but a bit of clarity now. And just with a nod to what you were saying there, Phil, I've been looking ahead to what I think it's going to take at the end of tomorrow's round-robin phase of the third section to then be in that final four. Now, that'll be a lot clearer when we know how many wins they all have going into the day. But I'm thinking 20 would probably get you in, and maybe even only 19. So Filler has got a wonderful opportunity now, as you say, with those 3 matches in a row. If he can get on a roll, get himself to 18, he might only need to win 1 match tomorrow. The thing is, okay, he's playing Al Shaheen, who's been struggling.
Joshua, your option.
But the highest quality of opposition in his other 2 matches this evening.
Yeah, and one final note. There's always incentives, even for Al Shaheen, because he wants to finish 9th. He wants to overtake Mieszko Fortuński and earn that little bit of extra prize money. Always Filler enjoys a real fluke. Now, has he had fluke position attached? The answer's no. Jacking up to pot the 1. It was never easy. He did get the bonus pot, but it's not done him any good whatsoever. Well, that was a poorly struck shot from Al Shaheen, but he got away with it.
Yeah, he came into today knowing he had 6 matches to play because he only played 3 yesterday. Might have been feeling a bit deflated. He had lost them all. The last 2 were both hill finishes. And he knew he was going out whatever happened. He seemed to take a very positive attitude to it all in his first match this morning against Shane Van Boning. He was freewheeling, racing around the table, won the match comfortably. But then after that, the wind seemed to go out of his sails a bit, and he lost to both Mieszko Fortuński and Skylar Woodward. But he can restore just a little bit of it here. He's taken the opening rack.
Yes, he's freewheeling, and so too is Fortuński on the other table. He, a split second ago, took a 1-0 lead over Jason Shaw, so the players first and second in this 10-man round-robin phase are both behind against the players 9th and 10th. The strength and depth in this tournament has been off the charts. When you look at the 6 players who were eliminated after the first phase, quality all the way, the likes of Alusha Schaap, Oliver Szolnocki, Naoki Oi, Kelly Fisher, Max Lechner, and perhaps most surprising of all, the man who finished 16th and last in the first phase group, Albania's Eklund Kaci, the world 10-ball champion.
Yeah, and that depth of quality is all tied in with the new world ranking system. It's been decided by a committee for now, but by the end of this year, we'll have an actual points-based list, and you'll see it more and more in these events. There'll be no arguments over who should get in. Yes, there'll be a few invitations, but for elite tournaments like this and the World Masters, it's mostly going to be decided off the world rankings. And by the time that goes to a full points-based system towards the end of this year, nobody can have any complaints because they'll have had every opportunity to play their way in to the elite tournaments.
Yes, we're going to see so many great events over the course of 2021.
Second rack, Joshua Filler to break, trailing 1-0.
First things first, though, who's going to capture this Premier League crown? Sometimes, quite often in fact, what happens on the one ball dictates the entire rack. And maybe that's the case there. Good pot, well judged white ball. Given his potting talent, it should be 1-1.
You know, we talked about this run of 3 matches he has. As much as anything, I'm going to be interested to see how he plays, because we've only seen him twice today. He lost one of those matches, and he was really struggling towards the end of yesterday. Today was obviously, okay, had to make absolutely sure of getting through, but also it was about restoring some of that form and confidence that seemed to have ebbed away. I think we pretty much knew everyone was going to have a slump at some point in an event of this nature. Played over 8 long days and nights. The question is, how do you recover from it?
Well, in the blink of an eye, Jason Shaw on table 2 has equalised. And on table 1, Joshua Filler does exactly the same.
Play has stopped on both tables, Phil. So let's hear from Joshua Filler.
I've won 13 matches, I think, feeling good in race to 5. Anything could be happen. I mean, I'm glad, of course, that I'm on top of the group, but actually my goal is just to go through and qualify for the final stage as well. I think in the first matches I was kind of struggling, and then in between made some mistakes, but when you play like 50 matches, you can't play every match perfect. So I think still the break could be better, but sometimes you have no influence how. I mean, I don't want to blame a referee, you know, but sometimes you get a loose rack, and then you can't make a ball, and then it's obviously not my fault. So, but you just need to give 110% also on the break and hope that the rack is tight enough, or you make a ball and have a shot after. Now there's no reason to be more relaxed, because in the race to 5, playing Jason, Shaheen, Albin, if I lose to those guys, I could also lose if my break doesn't work 5-1, 5-2, which just takes my big lead maybe. So I need to give 110% more to be there, to be in the lead still. So that's my goal.
I think a few people misunderstood him when he first burst onto the scene a few years ago, Phil, and some people thought he was a bit cocky, a bit arrogant, but the more you spend time around Joshua Filler and listen to him talking the way he did there, I think he's actually a really likeable individual.
Yes, when that interview was conducted, he had won 13 matches. Now it's gone up to 15. He just wants to play pool and enjoy himself. He's a good lad and an exceptional talent.
Push out call. Josh, your option.
When Carl and I were on together earlier, Phil, we were saying it's 6 weeks now to the World Championship. And we both made a pick, and you only get one. He went for Shane Van Boning. I went for Filler. So, what's your call?
Well, one of you has picked the guy I was going to say. So I'm not going to engage in replication. I can't see Albin Ocean successfully defending, and that's nothing against Albin. It's just purely law of averages. Let me just ponder over that for about half a rack. I'll get back to you.
The pool world awaits. This man went close last year.
I would love to see someone of a veteran ilk win it, because I suppose I'm of a certain age. Particularly, it would give me great pleasure to see Ralph Suke win it. But I'm going to say Jason Shaw.
Yeah, good shout. And if you've won the US Open, as he has, you can certainly win the World Championship. Very similar events. You were talking there about how hard it is to retain it. Earl Strickland is the only person ever to have done it. It was a long time ago. He won the first 2 stagings in 1990 and 91.
Well, maybe Omar Shaheen will go one better than last year when he was runner-up. In this match, he's showing his potting prowess and he leads Joshua Filler 2-1. More pool coming up.
The 4th rank, Joshua Filler.
They are hurtling through the racks on table 2. Jason Shaw has got a 9-ball to draw level with Mieszko Fortunski at 2-2. And on this table, we're not too far behind either. No time is being wasted.
Shaw's potted that 9. Do know if Filler wins all of his last 3 matches tonight, he'll go to 18. Shaw's top at the moment, and even if he was to win his 2 this evening, he'd be on 17. So Filler has it in his own hands to lead the field into the final day.
That really was a cracking pot. And look at the cue ball control as well. You would think one final puzzle. Get round all of the intervening balls and go up for the 3. Well, with the application of check side, those balls were not a factor.
That's what was so surprising about some of the balls he was missing yesterday, Phil. He's just the last person you ever expect to make an unlikely error. There's some days you watch him play and just think, how does he ever miss?
Well, Judd Trump made a big impact when he played in the US Open in Atlantic City, and I personally think that Trump in snooker is very akin to Filler in pool. Both left-handers, when they're unsung, they are a joy to watch.
I'd be interested to see if Trump takes it forward and starts playing in some more events this year. Plenty of them.
Joshua Filler.
It is 2-2 across the board on tables 1 and 2 now. the pace of play really has quickened up. Obviously, all of the players now completely accustomed to conditions. That helps. And they're totally in stroke, having played so many matches. This is a snippet of action on table 2. How about that for a stroke from Fortunski?
Things haven't gone quite as he would have hoped in this phase. He's played 6 matches and lost 5 of them. But whatever happened over the weekend, he was bound to come away from here pleased to have made it that far. And you consider he lost his first 5 matches. Didn't have a win on the board after the first 2 days. To still be here is quite a feat in itself.
Extension coach.
Yeah, early doors we were thinking, will it be Fortunski or Max Lechner as the wooden spoonist? In the end, it was neither. It was Eklund Kachi.
Carl, of course, said he was going to go off and buy an actual wooden spoon. I'd love to have seen him present it to Kachi. Not sure how that would have gone down.
The 5th rack, the score is 2 racks each. Omar, Shaheen to break.
We will, as always, keep you updated about table 2. As Al Shaheen breaks off in rack 5. Good break, but I don't believe the 1 will slide past the 2. That's the thing, you see. He went for an expansive shot there because he hasn't got a great amount to lose. If you can't have a little bit of attacking mindset when you're in his position, you never will.
Mieszko Fortunski has wrapped up rack 5 and leads Jason Shaw 3-2. So he's got a chance to beat Shaw for the 2nd time this week. Shaw's first phase campaign ended in defeat to Fortunski on Friday evening. So looks like being the first rack to be won against the break.
Indeed it is, and so Filler hits the front at 3-2. If he wins this match and Shaw loses on the other table, Filler will go back to where he spent a lot of time over the last 7 days, on top of the table. Let's just have a quick look at the top half of the table, because at this stage we did not anticipate it being quite as tight as this. Filler, of course, has got games in hand on the other 4 players who feature there, or at least 1 match in hand. 15 points mathematically, just to confirm, will get you through. So he's okay. He's signed, sealed and delivered to be here on finals day Monday. Same thing with Skylar Woodward, who's produced his best ball late on, come with a real flourish. And also the current table topper, Jason Shaw. Shane Van Boning and Albin Auschen have just got a little more to do. And then they'll be also through. Alexander Kazakis, he wants to just go into his last match against Skylar Woodward 5th on table 1 this evening. He wants to go into that fully focused on victory, and if he gets it, he's fine. Al-Qaedi and Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, they do need wins, wins, wins,
The 6th
and
ranked Josh
also
Shaheen is leaving 3-2 and
results to go their way in other directions.
Yeah, just to clarify, we're talking about 15. That guarantees it, but 14 may be enough, depending on how the 2 Spanish players do and their attempts to haul themselves in to the next phase.
So thin, that cut, and actually he overcut it. The solace for Filler is that the 3 and the 8 might cause an issue. Exhibition pool from Omar Al-Shaheen. He split them up, only to put himself in a self-imposed hook.
Attempting more exhibition stuff. He's left a nice starter here for Filler. And big news from the other table in terms of the race to finish in first. Jason Shaw is now 4-2 down to the eliminated Mieszko Fortunski.
Get the feeling this is the shot of this rack. Needed the 3 to come out, and he has judged that one to perfection. Standing off a couple of cushions around the back of the black. Perfectly on the 4. And 4-2 is now looming. Filler directly here is benefiting from Al-Shaheen's carefree philosophy.
Yeah, it's always interesting to player in Al-Shaheen's position, how they're going to respond to it. I think in his case, it's been different at different times of the day. Sometimes, as I've been saying, he's been freewheeling. Other times he's looked a little demoralised. No reason to be, really, in this company. But it looks like Filler is going to be on the hill here.
That is the case, and of course with Shaw struggling against Fortunski on the other table, quite possible in a few moments' time we will have someone new at the top of the table. Join us back here after the break.
7th rack. Joshua Phillips on the hill leading 4-2. Omar, Shaheen to break.
Marcel Eckhart announcing the start of rack 7. Omar Al Shaheen, 4-2 down. On the other table, Zieska Fortunski 4-2 up on Jason Shaw. So one of the big guns is firing, the other one not so.
Nicely done by Al Shaheen. He is bowing out of the tournament, but he can have a big say in who stays. And that's because his next match is against David Al-Qaedi, who has absolutely got to win that one to have any chance of surviving into tomorrow.
Well, it's a simultaneous tale of 2 balls into the same pocket. Shaw missed the 2 on table 2. He left it. Al Shaheen missed the 2 here and got away with it.
Extension called.
Fortunski has spotted the 2, but the position has left an awful lot to be desired. Well, here on table 1, could that be the beginning of the end?
Filler does close this out. As we say, he will go top of the table. Be the first to reach 16. But Jason Shaw may yet join him in a short while because he's still hanging on. He's just taken rack 7, so only 1 behind now against Mieszko Fortunski.
Really does look like another defeat for Al Shaheen.
This will take Filler's racks difference, if he wins it here, to plus 25. Shaw, if he wins, it would have to be 5-4. So he'd go to plus 25, but he'd have won 1 more rack. And that wafer-thin margin would be enough to keep him top.
Should rifle this down the rail. Yeah, money in the bank.
Joshua Filler wins the rack.